Hi YouTube, Coinpicker here. This is my collection of Saddlepack or chair Chinese Sycee ingots. And they are about 5 tael in size, basically about 6 troy ounces. Anyways, they were made in the mid to late 1800s. And generally, they're from the province of Yunnan. So this is their typical style of ingot, where you have the maker's mark hit 3 times from the ends and the middle, and then flanking the middle mark you have 2 rows of characters. Those are basically the semi-government assayers marks, so they would actually check the purity of the silver, which should be quite high, about 98%. Now this one looks like it's been through a fire because the characters are quite blurred. What's really interesting is, you can't see it here, but see that tiny little square right here? It's actually a chop mark with the letters ET on it. Not the one you're thinking of, but it's probably initial of I don't think the maker's mark. The maker's mark's right here, but I guess the owner, you could say quote-unquote foreign owner of this silver. These are quite fun pieces, quite hefty in the hand. And on average, they're about 170 grams, but the heavier ones could go all the way up to 200 grams each. Like this one's quite chunky. And we have 9 pieces here, but it took me years to amass this kind of collection. I think the least I ever paid for these over the years was about $50 each. The most about $250. But the top end of values would be the auction values in mainland China. These things sell about 1,500 US over there in an auction. Here, well, in North America, usually you'll see these sell roughly about $1,000 on certain auction sites, online or live. And this one, even though it's been assayed, someone's tested the silver, made their typical Chinese square cutout. It's not like they had electric drills back then, which you hear these days with these gold and tungsten filled bars. The companies are actually drilling into their bars just to test them. So I guess they had similar problems back then, probably worrying about lead in the middle of these silver bars. And whenever you come across these kind of ingots, these were made with very high purity of silver, like 98%, because most of them were made from melted down silver coins from I guess overseas, like Mexican dollars, British trade dollars, American trade dollars, what have you. And then with their methods, they were able to bring the 90% silver all the way up to 98% silver with their traditional smelting methods. See, when they stamped these marks, the silver was semi-molten, so it really compressed. You see these lines here? Well, this is when the silver cooled down, but when they stamped it, it compressed these lines here. So there should be no filing marks whatsoever, because they didn't need to file it because it wasn't cast. It was actually poured silver and then stamped. And then you should see these trapped air bubbles underneath. So it should be rough, and you can see these little holes. Again, the wavy lines around the edges of the coin, or not the coin, ingot. And also when they struck the ingot, you should see these sort of lines as well when the die hit the ingot. And the characters generally would be very crisp and sunken. There should be like sharp corners. Now, if they were cast, the quality is totally different. Everything would be mushy, no detail. And they should not be less than 160, 170 grams in weight. You know, if you get them like 120, 130 grams, you know, it must be silver plated or some sort of silver alloy. The fakes, they really try to save on the silver. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed my collection. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Coinpicker out.